Hello, everyone. Welcome to the webinar. My name is Dave Cool. I'm the Director of Artist and Industry Outreach at Bandzoogle. With me today is Allison Sharp, the Education and Event Specialist at Bandzoogle. Hi, Allison.
Hi.
We'll give a few minutes for people to show up, although we already have quite a few people already in the chat, which is great. So what we usually like to do is just, if you're here, if you're watching, just post in the chat. Let us know you're here. Let us know where you're from. I'm up in Montreal, Canada, where there is still snow on the ground. Allison's in Southern California, where there is not snow on the ground.
Never snow. Never snow.
Very jealous. It's been a particularly long and painful winter up here in Montreal. But thanks everyone for joining us. Really excited about this webinar. It's great to see so many people here live. The chat is already really active. Oh, Florida. Wish I was also in Florida. Snowy PEI. Nice. They understand my pain out in Eastern Canada. Very cool. Mexico, very cool. Bristol, UK. People from all over. That's really cool. Oh, hey, Glenn from Ottawa. It's always awesome to see just how many people attend the webinars from literally all over the world. It's very, very cool. So to give you guys a sense of how this webinar is going to work, we're going to go over some slides about EPKs, best practices, try to answer some upfront common questions. Then we'll take questions. We'll break for a Q&A. In the chat, while I'm going over the slides, Allison's going to be in the chat. She can answer some questions as we go, or she'll flag questions to ask during the Q&A break. And then after the slides are done, Allison's going to actually hop on and build an EPK for you guys to show you like a good example of an electronic press kit. So there'll be plenty of time for questions. So if you do have any, please post them in the chat, and we will no doubt get to them. So we've got a really good crowd here, over 100. This is awesome. So I'm going to dive into the slides and get started. So there we go. Can everyone see that?
Looks good for me.
Awesome. So how to create an effective EPK for your music. I'll start out by saying, if you want to copy the slides, feel free to reach out to me directly by email, dcool@bandzoogle.com, and I'll send you a copy of the PDF. We will also be sending out a couple of hours after the webinar ends, there'll be a replay link sent out. So if you have to leave early, no worries. Or if you want to watch it again, of course, you'll get a link where you can watch the replay video anytime. For those of you who don't know what Bandzoogle is, I'm just going to talk for a couple of minutes about who we are and what we do and what we offer for musicians. So we're a website platform for musicians where you can easily build a website for your music. You don't have to know any coding or anything like that. You get your own custom domain included with any plan, and fast and reliable hosting included as well. We, of course, have tons of features for musicians, music players where you can stream music, offer downloads, sell your music commission free. There's a lot of different options for that, where you can actually set it to be pay what you want, so your fans set the price. You can add lyrics to the tracks, upload MP3, WAV, or FLAC files. If you've got your tracks already on SoundCloud, you can easily import them with our integration with SoundCloud. We do SoundScan reporting, album pre-orders, all that fun stuff. Of course, there's an event calendar, so you can actually sell tickets commission-free directly through your website. You can add custom images, set recurring events. We have a Bandsintown integration, so if you're already using Bandsintown, you can just easily integrate that into your website. Mailing list, we're going to maybe touch on mailing list a little bit today, but not so much because we'll be focused on EPKs. But we have a mailing list tool built into the platform, so you can collect emails and send professional newsletters to your fans. Commission-free store, so you can not only sell digital music, but you can also sell physical merch commission-free, so CDs, vinyl records, t-shirts, other merch like that, even digital merch like sheet music, videos. You can create discount codes, put things on sale. There's automatic inventory tracking, so you can keep an eye on how things are selling if you need to restock. We just crossed 34 million in commission-free sales, so our members have sold over $34 million worth of music and merch through our store features, which is awesome, of which we didn't take any commission, of course. And, of course, there's a lot of design options with Bandzoogle. So we have over 100 mobile-friendly website templates. You can fully customize them with an easy point-and-click editor. You don't have to code anything, so you can change the colors, the fonts, the buttons, anything you want to customize. We also have a feature which is preset pages, and there's a lot of common pages on musician websites, like a music page, shows page, store page, and of course, an EPK page. So we're going to show you guys that preset EPK page a little bit later on after the slides. We have detailed data on your fans and your visitors. So not only where your fans are landing on your site from, what links brought them there, but also things like music plays and streams, downloads, store sales, mailing list data, all in one dashboard. And we have a ton of integrations. So I mentioned SoundCloud before. We have an integration with Bandcamp. We have integrations with social tools like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Pledge Music as well. And we're always adding new ones to the platform. Maybe our best feature, it's certainly the one that we get complimented on most whenever we travel to conferences, is our support team. They're online 7 days a week. All of us at the company are either current or former musicians ourselves or married to a musician. So it's a very musician-friendly company. So you can always chat with the support team 7 days a week by email or live chat if you have any questions or if you need any help. And plans start at $8.29 a month. There's 3 different plans. Depends on storage you need, and there's some extra bells and whistles for the pro plan, especially when it comes to selling merch. And there's some more advanced store features there. If you don't have a website, if you're looking to design a new one, you just use the promo code webinar when signing up for a trial, and you'll get a 30-day free trial. Plus, you can ask our support team to give a full site review of your site so they can really go in detail and let you know how you're doing and what you can improve on your website's design. Want to give a quick shout out to Hypebot.com, who are our media partner for many of the webinars we give. Hypebot is an incredible resource for music industry news and advice for musicians. Many of you are probably here because you heard about the webinar through Hypebot, so big thanks to them. It's been my favorite blog, music industry blog for many years. I actually used to write for them before ever working for Bandzoogle. So awesome resource. If you don't know them, check them out. They have music industry news and advice articles, new ones going up every single day of the week. So big thanks to Bruce and Hypebot.com. So how to create an effective EPK for your music. So the first things first is, what is an EPK? And I'm sure many of you already know this, but it's electronic press kit or digital press kit. It's essentially a professional resume for your career. It's the digital version of what used to be a physical press kit package. For those of you old enough on this webinar, you might remember putting together physical packages that had a printout of your bio, printout of prints of your photos, physical CD that you would send out to the press, to venues and festivals. Musicians used to get really creative with what went into those packages. I used to receive them all the time as a venue booker years ago, and obviously there's not much of a need for a physical press kit package anymore, but the electronic press kit is the same concept, and it's where all industry professionals can hear your music, find out all the information about your career and highlights about your career in one single place, which makes it very convenient for them. EPKs are used for a bunch of different things. Because it's a press kit, obviously, to get press or to help you get press, things like reviews, articles about your band, interviews, with blogs, magazines, newspapers, radio, TV, all of those fun things. We have, I'm going to be mentioning some resources throughout the slide presentation. We have a ton of blog content with advice for musicians. We publish new articles every week. So, If you ask for the slides, all of these slides and the images and links are hyperlinks, so you can just click on them and go straight to the resource. So we have a blog post called "How to Promote Your Music to Bloggers," which is sort of a step-by-step on how to approach bloggers and find bloggers to cover your music, and also how to get publicity to promote your music and be your own publicist as well. So that's another blog post you can check out. Another reason EPKs are used is to get your music played, so getting radio play. So this could be on commercial radio, college, but more likely college and university radio, which are a little bit more accessible, non-commercial community radio, internet radio, and podcasts. We have a post about how to promote your music to radio written by a guy who's worked in radio for many, many years. It's an awesome resource to check out. This might be the biggest reason to have an EPK, which is booking gigs. So EPKs are often used by venue bookers, festival bookers, and people, event planners at private gigs to decide whether they're going to book a band or an artist for an event. We have a blog post on how to get booked at music festivals, how to approach music festivals, and how to follow up, and all those things to give yourself the best chance to get added to the lineup. Also, we've given a webinar on how to book a tour without a booking agent, which was co-hosted by Kyle Weber from Indie on the Move, who specialize in gig booking. Great resource if you don't know them. But you can check out that webinar. It's free, of course, and you can watch it anytime. And same thing goes for private and corporate gigs. So the CEO of Gig Salad, which specializes in getting artists gigs at private and corporate events, co-host a webinar with us. So you guys can check that one out later as well. And the last reason you would use an EPK is to help recruit members to your team. So if you're doing it yourself, which I'm sure many of you are, if you're looking to add members to your team, like a manager, booking agent, maybe even a record label or a publicist, these are the types of people that will also look at your EPK to get a snapshot of your career and decide if it's worth, if they're interested in working with you. Ari Herstand, many of you know on his blog, Ari's Take, wrote a great blog post called 7 Ways to Find a Manager, so you can check out that blog post. This is one I wrote years ago when I first started at Bandzoogle, which is how to get a booking agent to book your band, from my experience booking a couple of venues up here in Montreal. And if you're looking for a record deal, and we won't get into this discussion today, but if you are looking to get signed, we have a great blog post called What Really Happens When You Sign a Record Deal, looking at the different types of labels and the different types of deals available to musicians in today's music industry. So, big question is, what should be in your EPK? And there's a lot of variations on this, and these are the things that we would recommend that you include. You can do a little bit more of one thing or not include another thing. It's up to you, but these are generally the features and content that you're going to want to include in your press kit. So, first and foremost, your bio. This should be written in third person. It can be a little awkward to talk about yourself in third person, but it's really important because often bookers, festivals, and media will simply copy and paste your bio for their website, especially if they booked you at their venue or their festival. So if it's written in first person, like as if you're speaking directly with the person, they would actually have to rewrite that. So write it in third person. It's also a good idea to have different versions. So an elevator pitch, like a one-liner, short bio, medium bio, and then a longer, more comprehensive bio, because all of these places have different needs and word limits that they'll need to use. Photos. This is where media and bookers and festivals should be able to find your official promotional photos. So it's a good idea to include some different options. Again, layouts are different on websites. So some vertical and horizontal options, even black and white versions, high resolution options for print, just in case. I mean, if you've gotten an article in a local newspaper or in a magazine, they may need to grab a high resolution photo. So make sure you have those up on your EPK as well. And you can also include the image from your most recent album cover for media that might be doing an album review. Again, it's all about making their lives easier, and so they can find everything in one place and give you some coverage, hopefully, or book you. Of course, your music should be available on your EPK. You should have your latest music available at least to stream, and include a few tracks available to download as well. If you're not comfortable putting your full album up there for free download, that's totally understandable. As long as you just put clear information on who the media or bookers can contact to be able to get a full album download. Video, obviously visuals are very important, so your photos, but also a lot of blogs and media sites and even festivals and venues love to embed a video of the artist for their story or to promote an upcoming show. So definitely embed a few of your best videos in your press kit. These don't necessarily have to be your latest videos, like your brand new videos. It could even be your most popular videos and a mix of official videos, and even it's a good idea to put a live video, especially for bookers. They want to see what your music sounds like and looks like in a live setting. So it's a good idea to embed a few videos there. Of course, being a press kit, there should be some press articles and reviews and quotes and all that fun stuff. So post links to your best reviews and interviews, and be sure to pull the best quote from those reviews or articles, and then just include a link to read the rest underneath that quote. One thing that we see often is on an EPK page, an artist will have the full article and full reviews, and it makes for a lot of text, and it's not very easily scannable, and it creates a lot of need for scrolling. So you got to, of course, keep in mind that people have very little time. We all suffer from ADD now because of social media and texting and emails. So make it super quick to be able to scan through the reviews, pull the best quotes, and if someone wants to read the full thing, make sure that there's a link that they can click to do that. And another nice thing that you can do is to add some visuals to the press reviews and articles, is add the logos of the media source next to the articles and reviews. And that'll pop out even more. I remember seeing a press kit of an artist who had these amazing reviews from Billboard and Pitchfork, but again, they put the full reviews with no visuals, and they didn't pull out any quotes. And it took me a couple of minutes to realize the sources and what they were. But had they put a logo of Pitchfork, a logo of Billboard, and then next to it the like just one of the best quotes from the article, it would have really popped out. So make sure that you think in terms of, easy, quick, visual, presentation on your EPK. One thing that you can, or it's not obligatory, I would say, but one thing that's nice to add to your EPK is just some of your notable achievements in your career. So, if you've been nominated for or won any awards, make sure to, put that on your EPK. If you've charted on radio, if you've performed at any noteworthy festivals or opened up for any noteworthy artists, you can put that information on there. Anything that will help give, a positive context to you about you and your career, you should probably put in your EPK. Of course, contact information. So you should have a contact page on your website, of course, but when a booker or a festival or media is on your EPK, it's probably best to have clear and detailed contact information right there on the page. So email address, even phone number. A lot of people still work on deadlines. I know not everyone agrees with this, especially in this day and age where everyone's checking their email constantly, but often bookers and media have tight deadlines, and sometimes a phone number can be the difference between getting that article or getting that booking. So just make sure that the contact information is there and clear. And if you do have a team working with you for booking, to handle your press, make sure that you divide up that contact information so the person on your EPK, looking at your EPK, can contact the right person. And last but not least, you should have your social media links on your EPK page as well. This is just so bookers and media can quickly click and check out your social media presence. Don't overdo this, of course. Just list the social media networks that you're actually very active on. So I still see websites and EPKs that link to MySpace and Google Plus, and chances are you're not actually that those artists are not actually on those platforms using them. So just use the ones that you're actually active on. So this is the blog post that we wrote about press kits. It's the 8 things that I just went over, but if you want a refresher and some more details, you can check out the blog post, 8 things that should be in every band's digital press kit. So we get a lot of questions about EPKs at Bandzoogle, and I wanted to proactively go over some of the frequently asked questions, and hopefully it addresses some of the questions you guys have. And of course, if there are any here that if there are any that I don't go over, please feel free to post a question in the chat, and Allison will flag it, and we'll definitely answer it to the best we can. So the most common question we have is probably where you should have your EPK. And the answer is pretty straightforward and simple. Your EPK should be found on your official artist website. And the reason for this is that your website is really your hub online. And all these other tools, social media, all these other platforms for musicians, they all serve a purpose, but everything should flow back to the place that you own on the internet, which is your website. And chances are, if a booker or media Googles your artist name or your band name, your website's going to pop up right at the top. They're going to click there, and you want to make their lives as easy as possible and have your EPK readily available on your website. So if you don't have a website, just some of the reasons why you should probably have one is, again, you own that address, you own that little slice of the internet. So regardless of which social media platform is the biggest and best at the time, as we're seeing now with Facebook and a lot of controversy there. I mean, for those of you old enough to remember MySpace, a lot of bands and musicians spent a lot of time on MySpace building up a fan base there, only for it to seemingly disappear overnight, and there was no copy MySpace friends to Facebook. You had to start all over again. So making sure that you have that presence that you own online, where your fans can always find you and they can always connect with you through your website to whichever social media platform you're using. You own the experience on your website, so hopefully you're not putting a lot of ads and links and distractions on your own website. There's no design limit, so you can brand it exactly how you want. You also earn more money by selling music and merch and tickets directly through your website. Like I mentioned before, all of Bandzoogle's tools are commission-free, but there are others like Bandcamp that take a small percentage, and you'll earn more selling direct that way. And maybe most importantly is that you own the data. So again, going back to our reports dashboard, where your fans are from, what sites brought them there, what are they searching for when they landed on your website. All of that stuff is really important, because access to that data and the ownership of that data should really be one of your top priorities in your career in terms of marketing and promotion. So things that data can help you with, can help you choose which song to release a video for. So with our music players, you can actually see skips and number of streams, but also which songs have been skipped through. So you almost use it as a testing ground for which songs seem to be more popular. And then you can choose to invest money into a music video for the songs that are more popular. Data can also help you decide where you should tour. So if you're seeing a lot of traffic from certain cities or mailing list fans who are based in certain cities, that data is extremely powerful, and you can use that as leverage with venues and bookers to show them that you have a fan base in that city and that they should book you at their venue. And quick plug for our next webinar, which will likely be in early May. I mentioned Hypebot as a media partner. Bruce, the founder and editor of Hypebot, is his full-time gig is actually a Skyline agency. He's a booking agent. And so we're going to have a sort of in conversation style webinar in early May with Bruce to talk about booking agents, what they do, how to book shows if you don't have an agent. And he really focuses a lot on the data aspect, and he gives a course at Berkeley Online all about booking tours using data. So watch out for that one. Data can also help you decide which merchandise you should sell, which promotional campaigns are the most effective, things like that. So again, all of this data tells you, where your fans are from, how they got there, where your mailing list member lives, where those streams and downloads of your music are happening. You can actually see on a map through our reports tab where all of your music plays are actually happening, which can give you a lot of insight into where you should focus your promotional efforts. Of course, as many of you probably know, it's a mobile world. More and more people are accessing the web through a mobile device, whether it be a mobile phone or a tablet. So your website absolutely needs to be mobile friendly. And mobile experience must be seamless. So that when I say mobile friendly, it means that someone who accesses or views your website from a mobile device should not have to pinch and zoom to see content, to see the menu, to click on anything. It has to be seamless. It has to automatically adjust for the screen that it's being viewed on. Content has to be easy to find, and all the e-commerce must work perfectly on mobile devices as well. Google actually boosts mobile-friendly pages in mobile search rankings and punishes sites that aren't mobile-friendly in search rankings. So if you do have a website and you're not sure if it's mobile-friendly, just go on any mobile device. And if you have to pinch and zoom to find anything, then chances are it's not, and you might want to look into switching to a platform where it is mobile-friendly. And one last thing on websites, just before we get back into EPKs, when you're designing your site, just make sure that you're making the navigation really easy. Every section should have a clear purpose. So, your bio, your music, photos, events, contact, and of course, EPK. And make sure to keep the name simple. Avoid getting too creative with page names. Again, attention spans are very limited, so make sure that you stick with some of the more common names for your menu items, just to make sure that someone who lands on your site and only has a couple minutes, they're not clicking around trying to find information. So in terms of other frequently asked questions about EPKs, there are quite a few platforms specifically for EPKs where you can build an EPK. And I would say this, it's sometimes unavoidable to use some of these platforms, especially because they're often working with certain festivals and conferences on an exclusive basis, so that if you want to apply to play at said conference or festival, you often have to go through that EPK platform to do so. But even if you are using an outside platform to build out an EPK, you should also have your EPK on your website. Again, so if someone lands on your website, it's just one click away to get all the information that they need. Should your electronic press kit be hidden or not in the menu? This is another question we get quite often. Our take on it is that you shouldn't make media and bookers have to take any extra steps to find information they need. So they shouldn't have to fill out a contact form or send you an email just to get your EPK. Have it readily available, clickable right there on your website, either as a main menu item or even a sub-menu page of your bio or about page. In terms of using a password-protected page for EPK, that's another thing that you can do, especially if you have lots of music downloads on your EPK for media, things like that. Again, making people jump through more hoops to find the information that they need. I think it's always best to make it easily and quickly accessible. And again, if the media or booker wants access to your full album, then make sure that there's just contact information there. And they will understand that they can find all the information, but if they want all of your music for free, then you can make them jump through a little hoop to send you an email to get access to that. This is another question that comes up. fairly often, which is if you should have a downloadable version of your electronic press kit. And this is my personal opinion based on experience in the industry. I don't really think it's necessary. You can include things like a downloaded PDF of your bio. Obviously, make sure that all the photos are downloadable on your press kit and that you have downloadable tracks once again. But to have everything in your press kit, downloadable in one file, I don't really see a need for that. The bookers media can just go to that link on your website and grab whatever they need. So having that kind of full downloadable version, I think, is less and less necessary as time goes on. I definitely experienced this booking venues and doing some press and publicity for independent musicians years ago, which is that when you're sending out your press kit to bookers and media, often people attach files, music files, photos, things like that. But you should never do that. Unless someone specifically asks for the files, never attach MP3s, high resolution photos, things like that. It clogs up people's emails. It's often just an annoyance, and they'll either delete it or just ignore it. So the best thing to do is just send the link to your EPK page, write a brief intro to let them know that they can find all the information they need, your bio, photos, and music through that link. And trust me, they will appreciate that. In terms of updating your EPK, it's really something that should be updated regularly. So anytime you get a new review, you should add it to your EPK. If you got new promo photos, then replace the older ones. If you've released new music, or you've got an awesome new video that's getting a lot of traction, definitely add those to your EPK. And your bio should also be updated regularly as well. So any new career highlights, new music releases, things like that. So your bio and your EPK, and by extension your website, should be updated regularly. It should not be static. So as your career is progressing, you should be updating all of that information so people have access to the latest and hopefully awesome news happening in your career. So just break for questions. I'll stop the slide presentation for now and just maybe come on camera here so I can. Hello. So have we been getting many questions?
We do have a few. Larry asked, how should a new band set up their EPK since they have no life experiences yet? He says, our band has all very experienced players where we all have a long history, but no photos and videos for those days. So I'm wondering if his question is basically about the new band since they don't have those experiences together yet.
I would put as much information as you can. So obviously create an official bio for the new band, get some new photos of the new band to be able to put up on your press kit. And as part of that official bio for the new project, you can mention highlights from all the projects of the different people in your new band, of course. And that'll create some context for, the new project. So, once you have new music, put that up. Once you have a video, put that up. But to start, definitely official bio, get some promo shots done, and go from there.
The second question is from Morgan. It says, what if you are a producer/label? Should I have an EPK for myself as a producer label and also each artist separately?
That's a good question. I think as a producer, yes. Wouldn't hurt to have an EPK. For a label, probably less so. For the label, it would make more sense to have EPKs for all of the artists that you're working with. People can find out information about your label, hopefully through the About section on your label's website. But in terms of getting press and bookings for your artists, they should have EPKs. And for your production work, it's not a bad idea to have an EPK either.
Annie is asking, although we did cover this in the FAQs. However, she says, I'd like to hide my EPK so that only my industry contacts can see my phone number and get certain free downloads.
Yeah, so again, I totally understand that. And it is a personal preference. I think that overall, it's best to have as much information easily accessible as possible. Obviously, things like a phone number and full music downloads, it gets a little more sensitive and tricky, but I would make it mostly public. And then in the contact information, make it clear that if you want, full music downloads or a phone number to be able to reach you, that they can send you a quick note and you'll get them that information.
Larry also asks, or actually he gives us a link to his EPK page and is asking how to improve the file, but we're not really reviewing the EPKs on this webinar. But we are going to be building a EPK page in a second.
Yeah, Larry, feel free. I'm going to type my email in the chat here. You can send that over to me, and I'll give it a quick look probably tomorrow, and I'll send you a note with some advice if there's any needed.
I think this might be just a separate question, but what are the top CD manufacturing companies like CD Baby? Not sure if that applies too much to the EPKs.
Yeah, there's a ton out there, and often, I'll suggest the bands just, use your local CD manufacturer, although there's less and less these days. Yeah, of course, like CD Baby, like you mentioned, TuneCore does CD manufacturing as well, and there's countless others. So yeah, I don't really have a super strong opinion. We do work very closely with TuneCore, and not many people know that they do short run CD manufacturing. So if you're already getting distributed by TuneCore, you can check out that information on their artist services.
Annie also has a question. If I hide the EPK and don't show it in the menu bar, and I provide a link, how do I access that link?
Sorry, can you repeat that? So the link, the EPK is hidden?
Yeah, so it'd be a page not in the menu. So basically,
menu, right.
it would be your domain name / the name of that page.
The name of that particular page, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, if that makes sense. Let's see. Also, Boke, I hope I'm saying that correctly. How about new individual artists? I'm assuming the question is, do they need an EPK for new artists?
Yeah, 100%. Again, write out your first official bio, get those first promo shots done. Obviously, have your contact information. As soon as you have new music, put it up on your EPK and start building out your EPK and get into the habit of updating it as things progress in your career. So yeah, definitely get started right away.
Kelsey's asking, a website seems to function as an EPK already. How do you create one so that it's not redundant if you already have pages for press bio photos, which we're going to be building one in a minute. So that kind of answers that. David asks,
although I do want to address that. Sorry, Allison.
Yeah, go ahead.
That is a great question. And we didn't include these slides. We do obviously a lot of website best practices webinars, but there's different audiences that are going to visit your website. And a lot of them are going to be fans, your current fans, or even potential fans who've heard about you, or you're opening up for their favorite band and they want to find out more about you. So a lot of your website is going to focus on the fan-facing things. And then you're going to have the industry side, so media, bookers, things like that. And again, while some of that information can be found on your website in other sections, a booker who lands on your site, or media, will click on EPK page or press kit, and then they have everything in one place. They don't have to click around trying to copy and download content from all over the place. So again, it's just about speed and just ease of use. It really helps to have one page where you can find all the things.
Awesome. We just have a couple more questions. David asks, would Bandzoogle be something to replace my website with, HostBaby, or something to add to or work with?
Yeah. So HostBaby is a website platform that's sort of it's part of CD Baby. And how can I say this diplomatically? Bandzoogle, this is all we do. So we've been around for 14 years. We power over 35,000 websites for musicians and bands around the world. We add new features and functionality all the time, every week or two. And so you'll see, if you haven't tried Bandzoogle before and you've been using HostBaby, you can start a free trial of Bandzoogle and you will notice a difference. immediately.
Mm-hmm. Beverly asks, is it possible to see some sample EPKs?
Sure. Yeah, maybe Allison, that's a great question, actually. So Allison's gonna build an example EPK, but maybe while you're doing that, Allison, I'll queue up some nice
Okay.
looking sample EPKs that we can show everyone at the end.
Sounds good. Ron is asking, when you refer to high resolution photos, what are the specs for that? 400 DPI?
Probably not 400. I would imagine 300 DPI is probably print resolution standard.
I think we already covered this. Yeah, we already covered that. Sahara asks, in regards to promo photos, what do industry professionals look for? Headshots of the artist and band?
Sometimes that's kind of the basic thing. Interesting, unique photos, something that's striking, eye-catching. The artist in front of the brick, building, or the graffiti background, or the railroad tracks. These things have all been done, and they're fun, and they do make for interesting texture in the background, and it's understandable why they do get used, but it has been done many, many times before. And this is where either you yourself or working with someone, I'll plug Delaney Gibson, you can Google her name, a CCXA artist. She does, art direction for photo shoots. So really coming up with a concept that ties into your music, your brand, maybe your new album, just to try to create visuals that are really unique, striking, interesting. All those things are good to try to do, because again, press, media, bookers, they get tons of requests, and any advantage you can give yourself if your photos are really stunning, then that might be the difference of getting booked or getting that coverage.
Elise is asking, can Bandzoogle be the original website? My daughter has an account on Bandzoogle and it's considered the original site. So I have a feeling she might be thinking if it's like an EPK is separate from Bandzoogle, but it's the same. It's just a page. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a page on your website, and Allison will show you. You can build it out from scratch if you want through Bandzoogle, but we actually have a preset page where we lay out a bunch of the features that are commonly used in EPKs, and you can just fill it in. I'm just going to answer. So Carolyn asked for Delaney Gibson's contact information. So let me just pull that up here. She's great at what she does, and you'll see on her website she does some pretty great work for artists. There's the link for Carolyn.
This is actually a pretty good question. Are Facebook reviews press kit worthy?
I've never heard that question before. That's a good question. It depends on the source. In terms of reviews that go on your press kit, it's really the way to create like a positive context for other media outlets or for bookers and managers and labels is if they see, a well-known press outlet giving you a review, or a well-known blog giving you a review. If my mom reviews my new album on Facebook, it's not going to, it feels good, but it's not going to have the same impact. So if your friends or even fans are giving reviews, that's awesome, and it probably helps on Facebook. But to put in your official press kit, it really depends on the source. So I would say probably not. But if you do get reviews from press or blogs, then definitely.
Dave, do you want to answer the rest of the questions, or do you want to leave some for the end? Or
leave some for the end. Mandy's having, this is bad sound quality. We have echoing going on bad.
Maybe because we're both on, maybe. I'm not sure.
Not sure. Is anyone else having echo issues with the audio? Yeah, Rhonda said just hit reconnect. Yeah, so maybe reconnecting could help. Yeah. Okay. So it doesn't seem like there's issues for other people. So sorry to hear that, Mandy, but maybe if you try reconnecting and reloading the page. Okay, so why don't we? So I'm sure there's more questions there. Um, so Allison, why don't you take over,
Okay.
build an example EPK. While you're doing that, I'll hop into the chat, try to answer some questions, and also look for some example EPKs that we can show everyone at
Good.
the end. So I will
Awesome.
turn my face off here.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So just give me a second to connect that. Okay, Dave, can you see that? Dave, are we still connected?
Oh, sorry, I muted my microphone.
That's okay. That's okay.
I felt I talked enough, so I turned off my microphone. Yeah, looks
All
good.
good. All good. So for those of you that aren't familiar, this is the control panel at Bandzoogle, and it's our visual editor, so everything is edited right onto the screen. So I built this sample kind of website from one of our members who has a really excellent EPK, but I wanted to recreate it for you guys so you can see how easy it is to create an EPK page. So all these pages are already set up in the website. And so what we're going to do is we're going to just go to pages. We're going to click add a page. And so Dave talked about this a little bit, is that we have some preset page types. So under page type here, we have blank page, home page, music, and then we have this EPK page. And so it's a super simple process. You just click that. It already titles it press kit, but we can change it to EPK or whatever we'd like to title it. And we do want to put it in the main menu just to make it easy, not only for media professionals, but fans also like to see this page at a glance at times as well. If they have a short time, out and about, and they just want to see what you're about really quickly. So we're going to title it EPK. It'll be a main menu, and we're going to publish it and show it in the menu. So we're going to go ahead and click create the page. You'll see that it adds the page right here, and then it gives us a preset already laid out. A nicely laid out EPK is set up. Now you can shift these blocks around. You can delete ones you don't need. You can add more content to the page. But for now, we're just going to simply go through the blocks that are already here just to make it easy. And let me grab some of the assets that I already have. So we're just going to click add a quote. And you can add the person that made the quote. And then you can link to the actual file. So if somebody has a online article about you, or it's an online magazine or a podcast or something, you can link to this this quote so they can view it there as well. But for now, we're just going to leave it as is. It automatically adds this really nice looking quote here at the top. You can have this project name change here. So we're just going to put the, let's see. Yeah, that's going to be the bio. So you can just change it. Oops. So we have different sections. So we're just going to change it to about. And then we'll paste in the nice long bio here. You can do a short or long bio, whatever you feel you need for your music. Now, in terms of press photos, we're going to add some imagery here, and it's super easy to add. Just pick your image. I already have some imagery set up in my desktop here. Oops, I already had that image there. You can add a caption if you'd like. You can also link it to, say, an external page, or you can have it as a file to be downloaded. So if somebody comes onto this page, they can download that file if they're using it for a press article or something like that. So we'll add that image, and then we'll add a second image. And since we already uploaded that, we'll just select it. And let's just say we only had two images. We can just delete this third column. We have different layout options. So you can click edit columns. And so right now we have it set to 3 columns. That's the preset. But if we don't have that many images that we'd like to show, we could just split it to 2 columns and make it look really nice on the page. We can change this text right here and then add a track. Now with Bandzoogle, since if you already have your tracks uploaded on other pages, it's super easy. You just hit add a track, add existing track, and since this is already on the website, you can just click add, and now it's in the playlist, and it updates right on the site very quickly. I don't have it set up for payment settings, so it's not showing the title of the track. But once you have your payment settings to accept payments, if somebody wants to purchase, it'll show the title. Let's see. Now with adding video, let's see, I have it here somewhere. All you have to do when you add a video is go to your YouTube page or Vimeo, grab the address or the link in the address bar, paste it in, and it's going to automatically update, and you can just easily save that. Super easy. We do have a couple sample videos. So right now it looks really nice in this full width, but I wanted to show 2. So I'm just going to edit the columns to 2. And now it's super easy to add my second YouTube video. And very easy to do. Now, what this page doesn't have on here is the some of the, hold on one second. Some of these press quotes. If I wanted to add more press quotes, I can add more to the page simply by clicking add feature. And we can add a quote. And then all these little down arrows, you can put it wherever. So I'm going to add it as a new section. And let's just paste in another quote here. And the quotes are really cool because it kind of breaks up the page a little bit. Now, if we wanted to add some things that people can download, like if you have like a Word doc or PDF, it's super easy to add those as well. Again, you just click add feature. And we do have a file list feature that makes it very easy. Hold on, let me find it here, file list. And we're going to put it right above the inquiry section. Oh, okay, because I'm using a test site, so let me just go in here really quickly. And we'll move this to a paid. Okay. Now we can add our file. Let's say we just had a PDF of our bio. We just click that. And let's add a one-sheet document. And if we hit back now, you'll see that it's going to show it as a link. You can add an image here if you'd like to kind of break it up, so we can just edit the column and do like something cool, like adding another image feature. And we'll just use one of the same images just for time's sake. And then we also have this section for inquiries. And it automatically populates the sections so that you can ask them for their name, their email address, and message. If you did want to add more fields, you can even do short text, big text, checkbox, multiple choice. We feel that it's super important to keep it as simple as possible, just because the more information you ask from people, the less they're likely to fill out. So name, email, and message is standard. And so we could just click save on that, and you'll see that it's going to automatically populate on the page. Oops. I'm not sure why the text is not showing up. I might have the colors set to white on white in the back end area. So there's the track name that populated. Maybe this will populate in a second. Let me see if there's anything else to add. Oh, also, if you also wanted to add booking information, it's very easy to do this as well. Let me go back to the EPK page. Scroll down to the booking area, and let's just say we wanted to add something here. We can add the title booking, and then we can also add some text. Yeah, I must have it set to white on white, so I'll fix that in a second. Here we go. And it's just as easy as that. You can change all the colors on your site. There's a lot of different options. We have different section styles. So it makes it really nice because you can add a bunch of different options. So if you ever get stuck, we do have support, like Dave said, 7 days a week. But it's pretty easy if you see that there's something kind of not working properly. If you go to the Edit Theme tab, you can change the colors and stuff like that. And so now that we can see it, we can kind of change it a little bit, adding anything else we'd like to add. If you want to add management information, we can do that as well. And that's it. Dave, was there anything else that you wanted me to add to this EPK page?
I think that's a good run through. I've pulled up a bunch of EPK examples, and maybe I'll even show the full Turbo Street Funk EPK. We didn't build the entire thing because they really have a lot of press. And
yeah.
The layouts, like it goes really in depth, but for purposes of time, we're going to build out the whole thing. But maybe I'll pull that up on the screen as well.
Okay.
So let me do a screen share here. Just let me know if you can see that.
Yes, I can
Does
see
that
it.
look okay? Awesome. So someone had asked for some, just to see some example EPK. So I pulled up a few just to show you guys. But this is Gal Holiday in the Honky Tonk Review. So just looking at her site, she's got some, she's laid it out in terms of like file downloads. So her publicity photo poster, she's got some videos, her official bio. I would probably tweak the font color personally on this one to be a little clearer. But there's even individual bios of the band members, which is really cool. Some nice quotes. I would probably put. I'm almost doing a review here without her without her knowing, but I would almost put the a really nice quote right at the top as well. Some career highlights here. She's shared the stages with Willie Nelson and Blind Boys of Alabama and so on. So awards, TV and film appearances. So that's one example. This is a band called Pinup, who are local up here in Montreal. They have a really awesome website, and this is their press kit page. So they have their bio. They've got some of their official videos along the sidebar, some really nice press. Their official promo photo, booking and general inquiries, and they have some of their upcoming live shows on the page as well. So there's most of what we suggested on there, but there's a few things they could probably even add to that. But it's a really nice layout and look to the page. This is Tavish. So she's got a great EPK page. We've used this as an example in a lot of blog posts. So she's got her official bio, some achievements, her music, and her obviously her official promo photos. It says right click to download some instructions. There, people were asking in the chat, which is good questions, like if it's high res, should you put like a little caption like click to download, or the dimensions, or the photo credits for the photographer? Yes to all those things. If you want, you can include all those things underneath the images. She's got some of her press. So again, she pulled a really nice quote, and then the title here is linkable, which is perfect. So I can click on that to read the full article. And Dwayne Eubanks, he's got a great looking press kit as well. I think we even used this in our video walkthrough of the press kit preset page. So he's got his bio. He's got some music. He's got some downloadable files here for his long and short bio. Press photos along the side. Some press articles with the dates, videos. So yeah, click on the image, download high-res press photos of Dwayne Eubanks. So that relates to the previous point about putting some captions with instructions is totally fine. He's got some more videos here, and then he has the contact page there. And let me just pull up Turbo Street Funk, their actual official website, which is an awesome website. So I'll go to their EPK, and you'll see there's a lot there. So they've got that really nice quote at the top from the Mariposa Folk Festival. Press photos say click an image to download high res again. So they've got their high res images. They've got their album cover, some press photos, their bio with more quotes, within the bio to break up the text, which is another great idea. Festivals they performed at, their music, more press quotes. And there's something, so they actually put a link to even more press quotes and links. And so if you click on that, it takes you to the press page. And, this is what I was talking about during the slide presentation about making, the press reviews and quotes a little bit more visual. So they've added the logos for the various festivals and media outlets to go along with the quotes, which is, you immediately see like logos like TEDx. If you're in the folk industry, the Mariposa Folk Festival, some other Indie 88 radio station, Toronto West Blog TO, CBC. So it really gives a nice, quick visual impact to show all the different sources that they're getting quotes from. So I, love these guys, love their website. Their EPK is pretty much perfect. So so those are just some examples. If you'd like more, let me just turn off my screen share here and turn myself back on. So if you'd like even more examples, I can try to dig some up for you. You can send me an email. I'll put my email address back here. If you would like a copy of the slides, again, feel free to send me an email. I think I've already received dozens of requests for the slides, which is awesome. I may not get back to everyone today. I will do my best because I like to take the time to respond to everyone individually, and often you guys have questions within those emails, so I'll get to those as soon as I can. So do we have some questions that haven't been answered yet?
Just some of the newer questions. Glenn was asking, in the first example you showed, it shows an input list or stage plot link. Would you recommend one as well for bands looking mostly for live performances and festivals?
Yeah, doesn't hurt. Definitely doesn't hurt to have that on that page. Those kind of details are often dealt with after you've gotten the booking, and then you're corresponding with the booker or the festival, and they'll ask for that information. But it doesn't hurt to also include that.
Then Beverly asks, if you already have your own website, can you use Bandzoogle to create EPK page to use on a website?
Unfortunately, no. So, so we're not a platform where it's like you have a page on our platform. So it's bandzoogle.com/Beverly. It's your own custom website with your own custom domain name. So we really power the back end of your official website. So you wouldn't be able to take a page and build on Bandzoogle for and use it on a different platform.
Brenda has asked or says, you mentioned the importance of varying bios. I didn't see any variations on the EPK examples. How do we show varying bio lengths in the EPK? Just list them one after another?
Yeah, that's a good point. And I was actually thinking that as I was going through the EPK examples. I just pulled up some quick ones that I could find. But yeah, you can either list them all in a row or have an elevator pitch and then maybe a medium length bio or even a short bio on the page, and then a link going to a bio page that has all the versions, or that's where having a downloadable PDF could be relevant. But obviously putting them all in a row might create too much scrolling. So depending on all the different lengths, you might want to stick with elevator pitch, short or medium, and then a link taking someone to like the full life story of the artist.
Let's see. Rhonda asks, does Bandzoogle offer a webinar on how to get reviews?
Not yet. It's not a subject we've tackled just yet, but that's a great idea. We have one more coming up in May, like I mentioned earlier, on booking agents and booking shows. Then I don't think we're going to have one until the fall. So that's a great idea, and we'll definitely take that into account to do a webinar on getting press and media and things like that. So thank you for the suggestion. Definitely take note of that.
Tina says, my husband does a single act, a duo, and has a band. Is it best to have one web page for everything, or should there just be links in the pages to the others?
Yeah, that's a common question, and it's a really good question, and there's no proper answer for it. It's a personal preference thing on how you want to organize your life and your online presence, whether you want totally separate websites for the two different projects or one website with information on both projects. All comes down to what the main focus is, or if there's equal focus, and if you want to maintain two different websites and keep the projects separate. If they relate to each other a lot, then you can have it all on one website and have different sections of your website speaking to the two projects. But it can be confusing if one project's very popular and obviously folks on that one and fans will be visiting that site and they want to find your music and your videos, and to double that all up on one website is a bit of an organizational a challenge, I would say. So it's a personal preference thing. With Bandzoogle, a lot of our members have multiple sites for different projects, and you can actually connect all your websites into one account. So you just log in once, and then you have a drop-down menu if you want to update the different sites through one account. But yeah, it's a kind of a personal preference and personal choice if you want to maintain several different websites for different projects.
Annie doesn't have a question, but it's a good point that she makes. She says bios should probably list word count because publications like that. So do you have any words about that, Dave?
Yeah, it's a great point. And so if you are going to list, short, medium, long bios, you can, actually literally put short bio, medium bio, long bio, and in brackets you could put word count, which again for the media will give them a sense of like, oh, I can copy paste this one and work with that one very quickly. That's a good point.
Sean asks, with newer discrimination laws, do the images in the EPK require background descriptions?
I have no idea, to be honest, and depends where the laws are and what they pertain to. But I'm in Canada. A lot of you in the US. There's people all over the world. So I don't honestly know how to answer that question. But yeah, require background descriptions. Sorry, Sean, you stumped me on that one. I'm not sure how to answer that.
I'm not sure of that either. I think, let's see.
I see a few people asking about the replay. So and it is a super common question, Tim, so no worries. Anyone still on the webinar, if you missed part of it, you will be receiving a link to the replay video, which you can watch anytime. So that email will be sent out in a few hours. So watch out for that.
I think that's all. It says, Diana asks, is it helpful for people to have 360 access?
I don't know what that means, to be honest. Can you explain further, Diana, what to have 360 access? Do you mean with photos? Or do you mean in terms of time, like throughout the year?
I don't know what that.
Feel free to email me, Dana, with if you just can expand on that a little bit. You can send me an email, and I'll try to answer that. But for people who are disabled, oh, okay. So for people to have 360 access. Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, to be honest, I'm not super up to speed on the tools and technology for that. I know it's something that does come up once in a while with Bandzoogle, and I think there's a lot of things in the way our platform is coded that makes it easier for those types of tools to read the information on the screen for you. But oh yeah, for having background descriptions, exactly. So it describes. Oh, I see. That probably ties into Sean's question. It's all making sense to me now. So yeah, I think so in terms of discrimination laws. So having descriptions of what the photos are can help people using tools that are going to scan the website, and it will read out what's actually on the page. So yes, thank you for clearing that up. And we're hitting. Yeah, we're an hour and 15 minutes. I think our webinar software has got a 90-minute limit. So if there's any last questions, happy to answer them. If not, again, feel free to email me directly, either for a copy of the slides or if you think of questions after, I will get back to you as soon as I can with some answers. Oh, great, Sean. So we did finally figure out the question. I apologize. That's awesome. Thank you. Glenn, what do most people leave out of their EPKs too often? What's the biggest headache for brokers and journalists? Wow. That's a great question. What do people leave out of their EPKs too often? Huh. I have to think on that. Probably music or video. Different versions of photos, different options for photos, vertical, horizontal, that kind of thing. But that's a great question. And the follow-up with what's the biggest headache for bookers or journalists? Just not being able to find the information that they need. So giving them as much as possible quickly right on the page. Again, you know, the biggest headache for them is when you send an email with 14 attachments to all the things, and it's just, a huge headache. So again, having everything on one page where they can proactively download the content. Videos or MP3s of cover songs too, or just original? So Larry, you got the last question of the day. Should you also put videos or MP3s of cover songs? In terms of MP3s, you have to make sure that you've cleared the copyright to be able to upload that to have on your website. And if you have, it can be relevant, especially if you're booking private or corporate gigs. Having cover songs, super relevant. And videos of you playing cover songs, of course, if you're trying to play weddings or corporate gigs, private parties, things like that, 100%. Or if you're trying to get gigs, like a regular gig at a local pub, doing covers, once a week, then yeah, definitely. Great question. So we'll end it there. Again, feel free to reach out if you have any questions or want to copy the slides. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in, and for those that hung with us through the entire webinar. Huge thanks to Allison for co-hosting this today and for building out the example press kit. Thank you so much. And enjoy the rest of your day, everyone. And we'll see you hopefully again in May for the next webinar. Cheers, everyone.
Bye, guys.